Welcome to the Money GPS Live. Thank you all for coming in today. All right, let's get this going. Setting up everything on my end over here. Welcome everybody. Just give me a minute here to set everything up. We are live on YouTube, wherever you are in the world. I appreciate you coming on in today. All right. Good stuff. That's going. 5 platforms at once. Got to manage it all. All right. Going live on TikTok. I still have a filter on my TikTok. There's a beauty filter on my TikTok, which is funny. All right, good stuff. Instagram is going. People are coming in. Thank you all. All right. So today we're going to talk about what's happening in September. So this is a really, really important. It's an important time frame. Anyway. So we'll talk about that. I'm just going to wait for a few people to come on in. Thank you all for being here. Love your videos. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Good stuff. We got some on TikTok and Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. Is America back? Hello, TikTok. Thank you for being here today. We are talking about what's going on in the markets for September. September. Huge time. So we're going to see what happens. September. Do you know what's happening in September? What could it be? Starts in August, actually, but I think September will be feeling it. So thank you all for being here today. We got 150 people in the house. We are talking about September. If you haven't already, hit that like button. Hit that like button. Don't forget to do that. That's really key. We're going to talk about what's going on. I think right now, hope you're having a good day. Yes, always smash that like button. Tennessee in the house. What's up? Thank you for joining on the live. Longtime viewers. We got some longtime viewers in the house. Evening Money. Good evening to you as well. Debt ceiling expansion. U.S. poor credit rating, if not expanded, equals default. Yep. We'll see. Some GME lovers in the house. Who loves GME and AMC? Who wants to see that happen? Hello from Alberta. Nashville. Great content. Thank you. Good evening to you as well. Tijuana. I'm driving with the 3D specialist right now. Seems like I could work something out with you. Awesome. Let's see what happens with that. I would love to have a little bit of fancy graphics for the channel. TikTok if you want to ask a question. Instagram if you want to ask a question. Please do so. UCO was a really good tip you gave me years ago. All right. Unemployment. Okay, so we got 182 people in the house. Let me just say the most important thing right now, in my belief, obviously is what's going on with the Federal Reserve. Okay, so whatever the Federal Reserve says, whatever they do, that is the most important thing. If you look at Jackson Hole coming up, technically it's at the end of August, but I think we could definitely start feeling the effects of that come September. Okay, so I think that's probably going to be the biggest thing. So that's going to start off our September. Jackson Hole ends on, I think, on the 28th. The widely expected to begin the taper in the fall, and even Fed President Kaplan has said it seems appropriate to do that in October. If we look back in history to see the previous instance in which they did taper, because they did taper despite what people for some reason don't believe or something, the taper did cause a huge crisis eventually. Now you might think to yourself, well, they just won't do it or what have you. But I think people need to understand how the Federal Reserve creates boom and bust cycles. And of course, all it takes is just looking up in your financial history books, read a few books on the history, and you will see how they do it over and over again. It's not as if like they realize that they cannot keep the pedal to the metal permanently, knowing that they would destroy the currency. So they have to ease off a bit and then they come back on, and then they ease off a bit and then they come back on. And this process here creates that boom bust cycle, which enriches the few, and everybody else who's trying to keep up with it. They got their 401k, they got their mutual funds, retirement accounts, and so on. Those people get squashed, and the people at the top, they win. All right, that's just the way it is. So Jackson Hole, I think, is going to be number one on my list to be paying attention to. There are a few other things, of course, that are coming around this time, but certainly that's where my mentality is at, thinking that this is going to lead us into the beginning of sort of that worry that, easy money is starting to leave. And that's what it takes for markets. You don't need to drop the balance sheet down to zero. You don't need to increase interest rates back to 20% like we had in 1980. These things are probably not going to happen. So what can they do? Well, they start inching towards it, and it's going to create a problem. And they can't necessarily, at least on the surface level, they're not going to be, we're going to cause a crisis, so we're just going to let it go pedal to the metal. No. They tell you anyway, what their story is, that they try to create a soft landing and they try to ease off a bit. But even the notion that they are going to be tapering is enough for the markets to say, oh no, now we got to worry. Okay, so even though if you look at, I was covering it every single day. Janet Yellen in the previous cycle saying, we are going to take it so slow. We're going to be doing this next year. We are going to be doing it at this much per month. We are going to take it step by step. And her quote was, it'll be like watching paint dry, telling you it is already on the table. You know exactly what's going to happen, when it's going to happen. It's going to be piece by piece, and it's going to take a long time to finish. Okay, so they told everything, and it was going according to that, according to plan. And still the market freaked out. You understand? This right here is so key, so important. But the Federal Reserve will just print more money. No. They realize that, number one, in order to control people, you have to create a boom-bust cycle. And number two is that they cannot perpetually create a boom because, of course, that has negative consequences that happen too quickly. You could stretch that out over decades. You could stretch it over a century, but you have to create a cycle. There is no such thing as a permanently high plateau. So I'm done my rant. Always a rant for the day. Thank you very much. We got 274 people in the house. Get that thumbs up. Get that thumbs up, please. All right. Yeah. Another hot day in New York. Okay, AMC squeeze, want to see in here? All right. So do you hold off a few more weeks before investing any more money in stocks until after September, or still average in? It's difficult to pull the trigger knowing something is around the corner. Yeah, so if we were to the truth is, and despite the fact that I've been criticized of just about everything, if you don't have your money being used somewhere, We could have, there's always something to worry about. Let's put it that way. There's no shortage of worry. However, if you understand that, in my opinion, right now, it's better to be doing swing trading because, quite frankly, if I'm going to hold it for 3 days, I don't really need to worry so much. If I know, hey, if things aren't looking so good, I'm going to just sell, then it's not really that much of a big deal. So in my opinion, swing trading is probably more appropriate at this time, but you got to do what you think is right for you. I know people do dollar cost averaging. They put into S&P 500. They put a little bit into QQQ. They make that happen over time. Their accounts build up, and that's how it is. I don't judge anybody for what they do. I think that people should be investing the way that they feel comfortable. I just think my personal thoughts right now is probably that swing trading is probably the best deal considering how crazy everything is. But you gotta, like I said, you gotta do what you think. Alan, thank you. I've been following you for years now. Love your work. Though you've been talking about overvaluations for a while. Why do you think a crash is finally coming in September? No, Alan. So I'm not saying a crash is going to happen. Let me clarify. The biggest event of 2021. So I'm not saying crash is coming 2021. So please don't misunderstand me. What I'm saying is that the Federal Reserve, thank you for the support, by the way. The Federal Reserve tapering is by far the biggest event. The expectation here, based on what many have said, but including, most importantly, the Federal Reserve President Kaplan has said that it looks likely it will be announced in September, and then will be, actually, they're going to meet. They're going to meet in end of August. By the end of August, the Federal Reserve will meet. They'll discuss everything, and then we will hear about it come September timeframe, and then October is when they say that they're going to start to taper, and that right there changes everything. Even though it might be a super small amount that they are going to be printing less, not like they're going to be reducing their balance sheet. This is literally printing less. It shows you that, okay, now we're going into a different mode. We're starting to relax a bit. We're starting to pull back from risk. And so the markets adjust accordingly. Oh, the Federal Reserve is taking less risk. I'm going to take a little less risk too. I'm going to reduce the amount of margin I have, reduce the leverage. And so this starts the easing process, but it may cascade. It may get sort of overboard, and then people start to sell, and then you have imbalances here, imbalances there, and then we start to see, as they say, who's been swimming naked. So that's what I think is sort of the biggest thing right now for 2021. I would obviously I'm going to cover it now. In the previous video, not many people watched the video that I posted this morning. But it was actually a really requested video. Like over the years, people have requested this video time and time again. I did it, and actually the views were very low. So if you haven't seen it already, I would recommend checking it out. It's the parallels between Japan and the US. And I show you why you should never be buying into a bubble and why you cannot continue a bubble permanently. So highly recommend checking it out. Of course, after the live, but I think it's really important to understand that, and then you can address what's happening today. Alan, once again, thank you for your support. Thank you for your answer. Any thoughts on how this will affect crypto? So okay, so here it is. People may not like this. So we don't have history in how cryptocurrencies will respond during a financial crisis. Of course, during a housing crisis, during a credit crunch, during we just don't have that history yet. So we can only speculate. And at this time, I believe that although you have a huge group of cryptocurrency supporters, diehard fans, hardcore fans, there's so much money in it that's just speculative. They're just speculating. Let's be honest. A lot of people are just speculating. They only care about the price. And so what's the first thing they're going to sell? Are they going to sell their, Ethereum, or are they going to sell their, part of their 401k? Probably the Ethereum. If they're just speculating. And of course that, there's the ETFs, not in the US, but there's the ETFs in Canada and so on that have Ethereum, ETFs with Bitcoin and things. These things will be bone dry before they touch their retirement accounts. So that's where a lot of the money is. So I think if we go risk off, then it could have a negative impact. But is it going to happen like in September? All of a sudden, you're going to see this huge sell-off in cryptocurrencies because the Fed tapered mortgage-backed securities by $10 billion a month? No, that's unrealistic to assume. But I think we go in towards a different mode. It's like a shifting of the gears. Okay, so I hope that makes it clear. But like I said, we don't have history. Some people say that Bitcoin is going to be a new safe haven. Bitcoin is going to be great during an inflation. Bitcoin is going to be the place where people park their money when they're worried. And that, to be quite honest with you, it is just speculative. It's purely speculation. We have no history on that. And if anything, it would be the opposite. However, like long term, there's so much money, especially institutional money, that's moving into Bitcoin, Ethereum. So like if you're worried about the current conditions, different story. But if we're kind of seeing it down the horizon, then I think obviously it looks good. The price, I have no idea. But like in terms of will this be a thing? Like is crypto still going to be used? Are there going to be more advancements? Are there going to be more people interested in it? Yeah, if you look like past the potential dangers in the financial system, I think it does look good down the road. I hope that explains it for you. Pork chop. Thank you for the support. What's the best place for an emergency fund? Roth IRA, brokerage account, or a high yield savings account? Roth, you can take out contributions. So I like the Roth IRA simply because you're getting you're putting in already taxed. Like look at Peter Thiel. If you saw him, he had something ridiculous. Like his Roth IRA is worth like $5 billion or something. So he used that very well. Very smart use of that Roth IRA. And why? Because you're going in with that, you're not going to get taxed on the way out. So I love that as an investment account for a long period of time instead of people using their 401k if it's possible for them. There's always rules, regulations, and so on. And let me just look at that again. An emergency fund. Okay. So what I'm going to do, now that you mentioned this, I've started to kind of work it out. I'm going to create either one or two or three maybe document, kind of like an infographic. And I'm going to explain, I got to work it out on the outline, but I got to explain like what you should do for an emergency situation. What do you need to protect yourself? Different things like this. And you could have the basic structure explained to you in like an infographic type format, or maybe just some sort of simple PDF that will break it down for you. So stay tuned for that. It's gonna take me a little while to kind of put together. And I'm even thinking about like at the end of every video, like showing it there, even if I don't necessarily talk about it, but kind of be like, here is like if you're concerned, if you need to know stuff, like whatever it is, it's right here. Take it, or then if you sign up to the insiders, then basically it'll automatically email you those PDFs, kind of that kind of thing. In terms of emergency fund, I think people, so that was a long-winded way to say, I think people should have emergency cash for sure. I think people are okay to have their money, some money, not savings, but some cash in the bank. Because that's where you get your paycheck from. That's where you pay the bills from. If you need to, send email money transfer to this person or that person, for people who work and they live and their family, everything's all local, different story. But as soon as you start getting international, you're working with people in different provinces or different states, cash, it doesn't work like that, right? So you need that kind of, there's something else there, right? Obviously, so a bank has its use, but you don't want to save in a bank account as far as I'm concerned. So that emergency fund, you could own, I mean, this is what the whole financial advisors and everything, money managers, they would keep it in short-term US debt. That's what they would do. So if you want to take that sort of advice, like want to know what the big money does, they hold short-term US debt. But like something like, an emergency fund, it's even fine in cash. Like when you think about it, it's fine in cash. It depends on what you consider an emergency fund, right? You don't want to keep $100,000 in cash just sitting there burning away. But I want to explain it a little more. So I'm gonna really outline that in this PDF, which I may actually just, in order to unveil it, I may do a video about it and explain everything, and then I can give people the PDF on top of that. So thank you for the support, and stay tuned for something a little deeper. I watch on Odyssey. Good. I got people on Odyssey. All right. Oh my goodness. There's so many comments, guys. There's 438 people in the house today. Thank you. Alan, thank you once again for your support. Speaking of safe yield, what are your thoughts on stablecoin staking like BlockFi, SoFi, etc., where yields are 5 to 10% on the USDC? Okay. Obviously, I love that for its own reasons, right? The trouble is that I've heard for BlockFi that there's some concerns about this. Now, I have not done extensive research about it, but I worry that there comes a time in which liquidity becomes an issue and you can't get your money. That's what I worry about. But like, is that a place to park a lot of cash? I mean, I think the risk is so high. You're really trusting them, but could you put some in there? I mean, yeah, if you got it in crypto already, like I would rather keep it in that than I would keep it on an exchange. Like if the alternative was just keep it on the exchange, for me, no, the exchange is a terrible idea. But if I can do it in something like this, I'm going to get a return out of it. So there's a risk reward, right? With anything, if I buy government debt, if that government goes bankrupt, I'm in trouble. If I own a stock, the stock goes bankrupt, I'm in trouble. So there's a risk reward, right? Also, I don't know about USDC, but definitely with Tether, I've heard some seriously strange stuff going on behind the scenes that have been audited and all this. So I don't know about if it's the same sort of situation with other stablecoins, but I would just be careful, look into it, be smart about it. But certainly a 5 to 10% is nice, because in addition to the appreciation on that cryptocurrency, potential appreciation, you're getting a nice yield. So that's good. I just don't know how they're giving. I mean, they can make all the excuses they want. I just don't know how they're really giving out that kind of yield consistently. It's important, this is on Instagram, it's important to talk about securing financial account passwords and multi-factor authentication. Yes, I agree. You got to use that multi-factor authentication any way you can. They have physical devices, or you can get an app for your phone. Many ways to do it, but I think that it is always very smart. All my accounts have multi-factor authentication. And it's funny when you see people trying to get in and that they were trying to use it without the multi-factor, and you think, no thanks. No thanks. How do I invest in a small country with $1,000? So I did discuss what to do with up to 1,000. Sorry, sort of like the $100, but to get to the 1,000. I am planning on doing a series of videos this week about what to do with $100, what to do with $1,000, what to do with $10,000, and $100,000. So it's going to be all separate videos. And what I can tell you is, before I even do the video, when you have $1,000, you've got some capital, but you don't have enough. Like some people would just say, buy silver, buy gold, buy whatever. I think personally, you got to take that 1,000 and you got to make it 10,000. You really got to make that 10,000. How are you going to do that? Don't worry about making 10, like 100,000. Don't worry about making 1,000,000. Worry about taking your $1,000 and making $10,000. So you're saying you're in a small country. Okay. I don't know which country it is, but if you were in the US, what I would tell you to do is to flip items. You find products that you can get either at your big box store, like a Walmart equivalent, and when they're on discount, like Walmart has these clearances all the time, and you could buy them and you could resell them. You could resell them onto something like a Facebook marketplace, Kijiji, Craigslist. I don't know if they're available where you live. Or you can resell them on Amazon. Amazon is available in most countries, depends on where you are. And there's usually an equivalent, okay? I don't remember the name. I know there is Amazon Mexico. I sell on Amazon Mexico, but there's also another one. I can't remember the name of it right now. But there's something very similar, and it's actually more popular than Amazon in Mexico. There's something somewhere, okay? So basically what you got to do is find products that are discounted and resell them onto a place where people buy them at regular price, okay? Or maybe small discounts and so forth. So that's the ultimate way to take your $1,000 and to multiply it. This is not just like, that's not something you would do for 50 years, but let's get that to 10,000. Let's take that 1,000, let's get it to 10,000. Okay, I'll do an extensive discussion about this in a video, so stay tuned, okay? eBay, yeah, eBay. I forgot to mention eBay. eBay. I'm sure where you are, if there isn't eBay, there's something like an eBay there. All right, let's see. Thank you for the support. Jason, did you see the video I posted this morning? The video I posted this morning, which was my worst performing video in the past, I don't even know how long. Very terrible performance. And I did cover this issue extensively. I showed you the charts that go back all the way, showing you the money printing that they've done. I compare that to the US directly. Okay, highly recommend checking it out. It just goes really deep into it. So, but if I could just say, they don't want to increase the debt, so they have to pay off a lot of the debt. To pay off a lot of the debt with inflation. So I don't believe any of the real inflation statistics, or I shouldn't say the real ones, the ones that they tell us about inflation, whether that's Japan or anywhere else. Okay, the measurements are used specifically to push them down. I think that Japan is an extremely expensive place, particularly in a lot of the major cities. So I would just, when I look at that, I have to think about what's really going on, and they're doing this exact same thing as the US. They are. They've got different problems with demographics, and I get it. A lot of the people are commenting about the reserve currency. It has nothing to do with the reserve currency. It has nothing to do with it. Go back to the great inflation of Athens. There's all the way back. What about the Roman Empire? Everything was Rome at the time. It was bigger than what the US empire is today in some respects. There was no other anything. And they devalued their currency. They spread their military out too thin. They outsourced their military. They outsourced their production of food, primarily to North Africa. They're doing all the same things that are happening today. And they got hit hard because of it. Never came back. So I hope that answers your question. Thank you for the support. farmers have started to cull their calves due to hay shortage. The price of beef should go up a lot in the future. Think about that. Unbelievable. I hadn't heard about that, but that is crazy. Really crazy. Yeah, unfortunate. But I do believe that for so many different reasons, that prices are set to go up even from here. Thank you for the support as always. Speaking of flipping, I made thousands last year buying expensive and hard to get equipment for wellness spas at a discount on Craigslist and reselling. Anyone could do it if they find a niche like that. You see this right here? Look at that. Look at that. Amazing. Amazing. Taking stuff that he found, going through Craigslist and reselling it. Did that require him to drive to different places and then meet up with different people? Haggle, do a little bit of bartering? Yep, it did. But he made money. He made money. And I'm sure that if he spent more time on it, could have made even more money on it. But it was all based on the time availability that he had. And this is what I'm talking about. Really, really important stuff, guys. Like, especially, look, if you've got $1 million, different situation. You're not going to go and flip things when you've got $1 million sitting on the side. It's a whole different ballgame. But when we're talking about $100, you don't have anything to invest. So it's all sweat equity. When you've got that $1,000, maybe a little bit more than that, sort of around that range, then we start to buy a few things and we can resell them. And we're basically multiplying. Then we get to 10,000. Okay, maybe I want to take $1,000. I want to put that somewhere into a particular investment, but I take the 9,000 and now I'm doing something bigger with it. Maybe I'm doing Amazon FBA. I went to the AmazonGPS.com and I took the Money GPS's course for free and learned how to sell there. It's all up to you. On Instagram, talking about subletting rooms. Yes, that could work. That could work. Lynn Alden. Lynn Alden recording the episode on Tuesday, and then it will likely be posting on Sunday. I'm planning on emailing a bunch of people this week. Peter Schiff, bunch of people. I just want to hear from lots of people. I want as many people as I can get a different perspective. Let's get talking. Let's get understanding. Of course, everybody, like some people may say deflation is coming. Some people say hyperinflation is coming. All that. On TikTok, being asked about SAVA. That's a stock, I'm assuming. I haven't heard of that. You need some capital. Yes, you do need some capital. Yeah, it depends on your range. If you don't have that capital yet, that's why I talked about in yesterday's live video how we start with nothing, right? How do we start with nothing? We got to use sweat equity. All right. If you have 4 rooms, rent all 4 rooms and then sleep on the sofa. Yeah, do what you. There's a book called Burn Your Mortgage that I've heard about. I haven't read yet, but I watched the interview with the guy. This is from a few years ago, and he was eating macaroni and cheese every day. He lived in the basement of his house. So he bought a house, lived in the basement, rented out the top floor, ate like macaroni and cheese and tuna basically every single day, didn't go out, didn't do anything. He just super saver to the extreme, to the maximum, and paid off his mortgage in something ridiculous like 4 years. So if you're willing to go, all the way, it can be done. It can be done. So, and he was making a fairly decent salary. But anyway, the point is, it's up to you how far you want to go. No one is talking about fish meal. used in agriculture or feed was at 30% undersupply 5 years ago. Interesting. I hadn't heard about that. Don't be like me and give a thumbs up. Yeah, 437 people in the house. Welcome, welcome all. Sunday, I think, is the most popular day. Oh, Janet Yellen in the house there, right? Thoughts on XRP? Here we go. All right. XRP. This one again. XRP, Ripple. When it was 2017, this was the biggest news. I was watching it every single day. People were saying this is going to be, there's like the US dollar is dead. XRP, Ripple, this is the next thing. It's going to be the biggest thing ever. Then the price, of course, you had the all the cryptos tumbling and everything. Price stayed low for so long, and still I don't even know if it's back up to where it was previously. But what I would say is that there's one thing is the price, and there's one thing that's the actual usability, the usage, the adoption of that cryptocurrency. There's a lot of talk about it. I haven't seen anything come into actual practice, anything reasonable. A lot of these groups, they talk about how many transactions they're doing daily. It's so amazing. Like this crypto has 1 million transactions, 1 billion transactions. And it's like, how many people are actively using it as part of their daily lives? Probably almost nobody. Okay. And that's the thing about it. I think that it'll make a lot more sense when we are, like when we're in a time in which people are using it. Right now, nobody's using it. Nobody's using it. And that's the thing. Like, that's why a lot of people want to know about it based on its price. Can the price go higher? That's what we need to define. Every time I get into the same topic, Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, whatever that is. Are we talking about price, or are we talking about the crypto itself? And if we're talking about price, well, then you need to look at the technical analysis. You need to see, is it a risk-on world that we live in today? Some of the crypto regulations seem to be a little bit less than what people thought it would be. So in that sense, could be a little easier, but I think it's kind of a move in the same direction. Like all cryptos, all the major cryptos will kind of move in the same direction. Whether that's up or down, we'll see. But if you look at the technical analysis, you could do short-term trades. I would prefer to do even short-term trades. I would prefer swing trading stocks rather than in the cryptos, just because it's so volatile, so hard to predict. Elon Musk sneezes and Bitcoin loses $20,000 overnight. So thank you for the support. Learn the trades, plumbing, woodwork, electricity. I bought my house for $50,000 a whole, and I fixed it up. Now I can sell it on the market at $200K minimum. Awesome. Awesome work. Good stuff. Yeah, it really does help to have those handy skills. Not just in that case there, but you know that no matter what, you are in high demand. Your skill is in high demand because, especially as people, you know, the newer generations, they don't know how to fix things. They don't know how to build things. They don't know how to tie their shoelaces. No, I'm kidding. But, you know, I'm just saying we've become sort of reliant on systems, everything to operate, everything to work fine. Like back in the day, VCR repair, you would take your VCR breaks, you take it to the place to get repaired. Now, there not only is there no VCR, there's no DVD or Blu-ray and all this stuff. People are just streaming it. So as long as their internet works, they're going to be all good, right? Different story today. Like it's a throwaway culture. Things are different. Susan, as always, thank you for the support. I appreciate that. So many wonderful people in here. Oh my goodness, there's so many comments, guys. I can't keep up. All right. Hello, Instagram. Hello, hello. All right. I know how to repair bicycles. I think that might be a skill. And if you, yes, 100%, actually. 100%. And if you think about it, look at what happened 2020, right? People, the surge in bicycle buying was crazy. Crazy. Once we were like sort of that spring to summer time frame, they were selling out. You couldn't find a bicycle. So there's a lot more bicycles now for people who didn't have bicycles before, assuming they're still going to ride them. That's going to be a skill. No doubt that's a skill. Yeah, for anybody who just joined right now, if you just joined right now, okay, here we go. What is it? What is it about 2021? What's going on? Okay, number one thing, the number one thing, there's many things. September 2021 has many events, but it begins actually at the end of August. We have Jackson Hole. The Federal Reserve is going to be meeting. This is their most important meeting of the year, Jackson Hole, where they will talk about, they've already decided this, of course, but they will talk and discuss about what's going to happen. Then September timeframe comes around. The expectation from many people, but most importantly from the Fed's Kaplan. Fed President Kaplan says that the likely events will basically be in September. The Federal Reserve releases a statement, says that we are going to start tapering in the near future, and that date, which Kaplan has said, is October. This represents the biggest change. Now, why? Is a reduction in $10 billion a month of mortgage-backed securities. So maybe they were printing $40 billion a month. Now they're printing $30 billion a month in mortgage-backed securities. Is that huge? No. But what does it signal? A shift in gears, a shift in gears. They are starting to pull back. They are starting to lift off the gas pedal. And that makes the investors start to think, okay, all right, we're moving into the zone now. Okay, so we're not full risk on. We're going to start taking it a little easier. We're going to start to reduce our leverage. We're going to start to reduce the amount of margin that we have. And this starts this unraveling effect. Of course, they got to go, Federal Reserve has to go super slow, which we know they will. But the Federal Reserve is behind everybody else. Canada started reducing their balance sheet, or reducing the amount they were printing. I think it was even last year, or maybe earlier this year. Already, by my count, there have been 23 rate increases globally by central banks. 23 already this year. So that easy monetary policy, I mean, it's still in play. There's no doubt about it. But it isn't what it was last year. It is very different. So I think by the time we get to September and we get an announcement from the Federal Reserve, if we get an announcement from the Federal Reserve, though, there's a lot like pushing for something, like let us know what's happening, because the markets are very uneasy. So they need to sort of pacify them, even if that is, long way down the road. This is what we're going to do on these dates. This is really key to watch. Of course, I will be covering every bit of it. Yes, the front lines of finance. The Money GPS, thank you for coming on in. All right. Green Day in the house. Green Day. Does anybody like Audio Slave? Anybody in the house love Audio Slave? I was listening to them today. I'm trying to read your comments here, guys. See if we got any questions. Earl, you like Audio Slave? Is that what you're saying? Yes. Okay. Chris Cornell, yeah. Chris Cornell. Soundgarden. Soundgarden, yeah, for sure. Yes. Loving that. Okay. We have, I think, 3 of the Walton family's Walmarts that live in Jackson Hole, making it a multi-billionaire's paradise. Wow. When you think about it, the amount of money the Waltons have, I think there's three of them that are on the richest list, and you combine them together, and I think it's something along the same lines of Bezos actually, but they're way down the list or further down the list because it's split between three people, right? Yeah, agreed. Bad motor finger. Should we start to prepare our bunker and stack it with food? Well, no. But should you have storable food? I would say yes. But you don't have to get the freeze dried food, though some people do. Why not just buy extra bags of rice? Why not just buy extra cans? There's a channel that I had seen. Let me think of the name here. Well, Your World, and the guy's basement. He lives in Arizona, I think. The guy's basement is just stocked up, and he did a video at the mid 2020, and he's saying everybody was stocking up on food, and they were going crazy at the stores and everything, but this is just how I live. And his basement just huge containers of beans and rice and like anything you could think of, lentils, everything was just all stored there. Keeps it cool. It's underground, all good. Stores for a long period of time. He had them in like 5-gallon containers or something. Some of the stuff anyway. But anyway, the point is that it's just kind of normal for some people, and for other people, it's like sort of so foreign. Like if you've got some land, if you've got a backyard, you should be growing food in your backyard. Why? If for no other reason, the food tastes 1,000 times better. Put a fruit tree back there. Spend $200. Get a fruit tree. Buy one that's already, sort of several feet tall, so you can get started that way. Buy that fruit tree. Put it in your backyard. Take a little bit of care of it. It'll take care of you. Here we go. 20-liter plastic bucket. Put your rice in it with a moisture guard line, long-range wireless driveway alarm. All right. Okay. A lot of conversations going on here. I got to read the questions. Fruit and nut trees are awesome investments. Completely agree. And if you can't afford to get that, if it's $200 or something for a tree that's already grown, start from seed. Okay, it's going to take you longer, but don't make that the excuse, right? Come on. Fruit tree equals bears. I'm not sure what that means. Are you saying that bears are gonna come to eat the fruit or something? 99% people don't care about the truth. They care about comfort. Completely agree with that. That's why you see a lot of the people, their YouTube channels that have done exceptionally well is just telling people what they want to hear. That's the best way to have success. If anybody wants to start a YouTube channel, look at a particular niche, make sure you have a particular niche, and then tell people what they want to hear. That's the best way. Don't worry about the truth. Don't worry about what's the right thing to do. Always just tell people what they want to hear, and then they'll share that to their friends and stuff, and then the channel will grow. Oh, there we go. Yay. Fruit trees in my front yard too. Share the fruit, make friends with neighbors. 100% agree. 100%. Fruit trees are tops though. Yes, yes, yes. Peppers and tomatoes? Yes. I mean, hey, whatever, anything, do it. Do it. Whatever you have room for, if only you had a little bit of room, do a little bit. Do a little bit. It's great. Civil unrest, yeah, likely it'll get much worse. Okay. I keep a bramble of blackberries and raspberries. Beautiful. And don't forget to check out, I posted about this on my, here's a plug, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, not Patreon, but on all the other ones. I had posted about this previously, a website called fallingfruit.org. I think it is Falling Fruit. If you just type in fallingfruit.org, okay? That right there is a website, and although some people told me they saw some weird stuff on there, depending on your area, it shows you all the fruit trees that are publicly available to you. You would be surprised how much fruit is just hanging around. Okay, maybe it's not, the apple that you find is like some generic apple that it's not really that tasty. It's not a Fuji apple or something, but it's there. And nobody's touching it because it's in that park, or it's in that forest, or it's in that place that, a pathway that people don't walk down or something like this, and it's just available to you. So there is food available to you all over the place. I see people picking dandelions all the time. Those are going into the frying pan for a lot of people. So microgreens, oh yeah, this is something that I've always wanted to do, to actually have a microgreen business, because number one, you're providing a truly good service. Like, I think microgreens are extremely good, and at the same time, worst case scenario, I got food to eat. Like, there's just no downside to it. If that particular customer doesn't want it today, well, okay, I got food to eat now for the next day, so I'm good. So like, microgreens are awesome that way. Fruit and nut trees, awesome investments. I agree. Okay. So many comments, guys. Thank you for all of these. Thank you for being here today. Somebody stripped my neighbor's peach tree in her fence yard. Wow. That's terrible. High vitamin C dandelions. Yeah, great for the liver. Oh yeah, they're really good. Really good. Diego, thank you for the support. My birthday's in September. It will be a great moment to celebrate in the middle of the financial. Yes, thank you for the support. Yes, that I think all it will signal is a change. It's going to be different after that point on. Doesn't mean we can't have higher points in the stock market. There's no doubt. Things can absolutely be very different from that point on, and I'm just going to be covering it every single day. I'll give you the information you need to know. Definitely stay tuned. Have no fear, it won't spoil your birthday party. But I just think that people should get wise if they're in the stock market, if they're heavily over leveraged. Like, people buy into ETFs, and they don't just buy. Like, a lot of the reason why ETFs have gotten popular, which is so sad, is that it's easy to get leveraged that way. And that's not good. That's not good. If you've got $1,000 to invest, put $1,000 in. Don't buy $1,000 of a 2x of something. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. It's such a bad idea. Invest what you're willing to lose. People right now should be learning how to swing trade. It is a skill. It is a skill. Please do it. 400. Thank you for the support. 417 watching live. Congratulations, GPS. You are slaying it. Look, everybody watching today, I'm going to be creating a series of videos which I've been asked 100 times before. Hopefully, people will watch it. what to do with the $100, what to do with $1,000, what to do with 10,000 and 100,000. And I think this is going to be something I can reference over and over and over again throughout the years. The video that I had done this morning was about Japan, and although the views on it were very terrible, this was one that was requested over and over. Show me the parallels between Japan and the US. Show Japan and the US. I've been asked 100 times. So at least now I can reference to that. I could type, say, Japan, US, the money GPS, and you'll get that video to come up, so I can always reference it later. So I went into it. I showed you the balance sheets. I showed you the fact that the real estate market and the stock market still have not achieved their previous highs. Okay, we are 30 years later and they have not hit their previous highs. And you tell me, don't worry, the markets always go up? Not the case. Not the case. Am I saying it's exactly the same? No. Not at all. But you got to get out of this mindset that, oh, you know, markets will come down. I've seen people say, yeah, well, the market's going to come down 40% and then it's going to go back up. How did you even know? How do you know that? Where's your crystal ball? Please let me borrow that crystal ball. I need it. I need it. I'll go play the lottery. I'm going to go play the lottery if that's the case. I watched this morning, scary how pathetic their economy has been. Yeah, it's really bad. And I think that, you know, they'll tell you that, oh, look, everything's so fine in Japan. It's not. It's not. So they have, like, their situation is not, you know, Afghanistan or something, but certainly it's not what it's claimed to be. Like, oh, this is the second biggest economy or the third biggest economy in the world. Oh, wow. You know, you got to look at it deeper. When we're looking at GDP stats or something, you're not going to be able to tell what's going on in an economy. My crystal ball is over at breaking points. TradingView, yeah, great service. Great service. I put the link in the description of TradingView if anyone has that or anybody wants it. See, Japan demographics. Yeah, so long term they're in big trouble. For everyone who wants Dave to talk about other topics, why not start your own channel? I would watch. Yeah, I would love to start another channel. Never mind. Love to talk about all kinds of stuff. Catchy title, any substance to it? Are we talking about the title of this current video? Anthony, can you clarify? Because I talked about it twice already. Maybe you just got here. I can clarify. All right. Anybody that wasn't here earlier and wants me to clarify what the title is about, again, I can do that. No worries. Yellen is heavy where the pin goes. That's why I love her. Okay, Yellen's mine. So please refrain from any Yellen discussions that do not include me. Thank you. Thanks. Yellen and the GPS. Yellen, the GPS. The Fourth Reich. The book by, what's his name? Mars? What's his name? Fourth Reich. Rise of the Fourth Reich? Is that what we're talking about? Who is this? Jim Mars. There we go. Is that what you're talking about? I read that book. Wild book. If that's what you're talking about. Can't talk about it on the channel. But I read it. I think people should read it. What is swing trading? Swing trade is basically a trade that lasts. So you're trading, let's say, the stock market, and it lasts 1 day to, let's say, 1 month. There's kind of no hard definition of it, but Like you may hold it just until the next day, you sell it the next day. Or you may hold it for a month, maybe 2 months or something, but then we're talking about more longer term investing. But yeah, that those sort of shorter time frames of what you're doing is you're seeing when something becomes oversold or maybe overbought, and you either buy it or short it, and you hold it until the point at which you think, okay, it's probably going to stabilize here and it's probably reverse in the opposite direction. So now's the time to sell. So you're just trying to get the meat of that particular movement, not pick the perfect point at the top or the bottom or what have you, but you're just trying to get the meat of that movement, and then you do that, and you maybe you trade twice a day, 3 times a day at the most, okay? And then you've only got a handful of trades at any given time, and then you can manage them nice and easily. You don't have to be day trading. You got your binoculars looking at this thing every minute, your microscope looking at the markets every minute. You got a handful of them. You can manage them all. You can sell. You don't have to worry if I didn't sell at 238 and instead I sold at 240, so I lost half my money. No, none of that stuff. Day trading could be profitable for some. It's just not for most. It's just not good for most because they got to be glued to their screens all day, every day. Let's see. All right, how long we got? An hour already. Oh my goodness. All right, guys, let's keep going. Let's keep going for now. Japanese stock market dropping. Interesting. Do you agree short-term investing for the new people without experience is more gambling, where maybe it's better if they invest long-term? So you shouldn't be getting into any investment if you are not aware of the details of it. So if you're like what most people do, look, let's be honest, the average retail trader, what are they doing? They're saying, I have an iPhone, therefore I'll buy Apple stock. I love Amazon, I buy stuff on there all the time, I'll buy Amazon stock. Facebook is great because they have Instagram, I'll buy Facebook stock. Like that's pretty much the extent of what they're doing. And let's be honest, those stocks have been going up. They've been performing very well. So that's the truth of the matter. However, if you learn the skill of swing trading, ultimately you're in much more control. You don't have to worry about regulations and this and that because you may only be holding the trade for 2 days. So you'll be in and out of that thing. Okay? But if you want to be just kind of, I'm just going to put my money into the S&P 500, I'm just going to let it ride. That's a whole different thing, and I don't know. I don't like that. But people can do what they please, whatever they think is right with their money. And hey, it's gone up. It's gone up. If people have done that, then they have seen the appreciation of their portfolio. So I don't really think that the debt being extremely high is a problem in itself. I don't see it like that. But if you go back last Sunday I did a video with Lance Roberts, Real Investment Advice. You probably can find it by typing into the search and put The Money GPS, Lance Roberts, and he describes it. I've asked him about this. Why can't we just print to infinity, and we kind of get into that in depth? But I believe personally that when you see a credit crunch, a debt crisis, these things happen and they start to basically squeeze the entire system. So when you have excessive debt, you end up running into these problems. Okay, those problems, there's so many layers to it. But I think that on the way up, nothing's really a problem. But it's when you get that crunch or that squeeze that you start to see everything. Like look at 2006, 2007. There were, I mean, people were paying attention, were yelling and screaming like, this is crazy. But the whole while, everything was fine. And then what was going on? AIG, Bear Stearns, Lehman Brothers, and many others, Northern Rock in the UK. I mean, all of these different things happened. Even years later, Europe had many other banks that started to basically freeze up and things. But leading up to that moment, everything was fine. At least it seemed that way. Under the hood, different story. All markets have been down. All right. We'll see. We'll see. Adam, you're welcome. Unfunded liabilities, we're almost at $200 trillion. Yeah. It's crazy. Just don't include them. Just don't include them. See what happens. Swing trading, get in, get out, no hodling. Yeah, hodling. Gold, silver, and the constant manipulation. So I like gold and silver, and the hold time is indefinite as far as I'm concerned. Okay, the hold time is an indefinite. You don't want to sell it. That's my opinion anyway. But in terms of the manipulation, yeah, it is terrible, and it can continue. It can continue for a long time. However, I do think that the demand for physical metals will increase dramatically during our next crisis. So whenever that is, I personally believe that the demand will increase. Okay, so you're going to have a hard time finding it and so on. I think the price could actually decline before it goes up. All right, we're being asked on TikTok here. Will there be a market crash? So what I had talked about a moment ago, TikTok, and by the way, I think I have a beauty effect on. I don't know how to work TikTok, so that's just the way it is. Apologize for that. Apologize for that. Looks like I have something. I have dreamy eyes or something. Basically, for anybody listening right now, September. This is important. Why? September is important because the Federal Reserve is meeting at the end of August. At the end of August, they have Jackson Hole. Their Jackson Hole meeting is extremely important. That's the big meeting of the year. That's their Lollapalooza. That's their, their big event. So they're going to be there. And they are going to discuss what's going to happen in September. In September, the expectation here is that they're going to announce when they're going to taper. According to the Fed's Kaplan, the Fed President Kaplan, he said Fed taper will be announced in September, likely, or it may. Of course, he's not going to give that information out. But that October looks like the likely date. Okay. What I said earlier in the video was on YouTube. By the way, TikTok you're watching on YouTube, I said that essentially what we have at this time is very different than what we'll experience as soon as the Federal Reserve says it's time to taper. Because now the risk off is coming. Now the unwinding is coming. Now they're starting to unravel everything. And they want to do it nice and slow. Don't upset the markets. Keep them calm. Pet them nicely. They want to be real good to them. So, of course, this is not something that is going to go their way, at least on the surface level. We got to realize how this all works. And it is very important to look at their actions historically. You go back to 2018 and you see for yourself. Taper equals bad. Okay? Taper equals bad. Okay, a lot of comments, guys. All right. Best advice probably to secure some land that can actually grow food. Awesome. That's awesome. As long as you can take care of it. Jeff, I hope you heard that one. I'm behind on the comments, but I hope you heard what I was just talking about. That's what it is. Just trying to read through your, if you have any questions here. I'll try and stay at least another 10 minutes. What are we buying with the debt? What are we investing in? Something substantial or consumption? Yeah, we know that it doesn't benefit the people. All the debt doesn't benefit the people. That is absolutely certain. Absolutely certain. Which is unfortunate because, you know who has to pay for it. It's the taxpayer. It's the taxpayer. So it's just the way it is. What would you do for someone making 30K a year? Are you suggesting like what should you do if you make 30K a year and you want to invest? It depends on like if you think about it on a monthly level, what kind of disposable income do you have? I think that would probably be more appropriate. At 30,000, you're probably not left with much at the end of the day, right? Depending on where you live. So I would think about what. Okay, so stay tuned to the. I'm creating a series of videos. That's basically what would I do with the $100? What would I do with the $1,000, 10,000, and 100,000? They will be all separate videos, and then from there you'll be able to understand the mentality that I have, which is different than most others, and it will explain to you. In greater detail, but essentially when you have only a little bit, you have to learn to multiply that money using sweat equity. What skills do you have today? What are you willing to sell? Go to your neighbors, go to your friends, go to your family. What skills can you provide them? What skills do they have that you can leverage? Like you gotta get creative at these levels, and you can make money. If we were talking about all kinds of things. That live video was amazing. That was yesterday, I believe. And there was just suggestion after suggestion after suggestion from people coming all over the place from their personal examples, people they knew. I was talking about them as well. If you want to see that live video, it's unlisted right now on YouTube. But if you go to Twitter, if you go to Facebook, you will still see it there. So I highly recommend checking it out. Okay, guys? It was something like what I would invest in with $100 or something like that. But essentially, you got to be creative. You got to use sweat equity. Okay, TikTok is asking, how bad of a market correction should we expect? So I don't think we're going to necessarily just see the Federal Reserve makes one change and suddenly you're going to see a market correction. I don't think it's going to happen like that. How bad can it be? How high has it come up so far? It's come up real high, right? So the expectation could definitely be that it comes down hard. But it won't happen overnight. It won't happen overnight. But you just got to be smart about where your money is. Don't use leverage. Don't use margin. Use what you're willing to lose. So take the time to learn about technical indicators so you can potentially see some of the signs there. Look for the institutional money when they start moving their money out. That will give you forewarning of what's happening. The retail investor doesn't matter in most stocks. There are very limited examples where the retail investor meant anything, and the only reason they meant anything is because you have companies like Citadel, which are seeing the trades that are going through, and they're simply riding on the back of those investors, and they are making a hefty profit from it. People think that the whole GME thing, AMC thing was about getting the hedge funds. You know how many hedge funds made a heck of a lot of money trading on that? They made a lot of money doing that. They use high frequency trading. You could never do anything like high frequency trading. It's not going to happen. And so they get the benefit from it. They really do. That doesn't mean that you can't benefit from everything, from the market moves. You can absolutely benefit from the market moves. You got to learn how to read the details. All right. Have I reached out to Jay Bravo? I have not. But I've had a few people talking about it, so I should contact him. Is that guy's name Bill Stenzel or something? Bill Stenzel or something like this? I think I could have sworn that he used to comment on my channel. All right, Kevin. New here, enjoyed your educational services here on the tube. Stacking fractionals for barter if it hits the fan. Investing in small crypto every payday. I never lock in a bank. Awesome, good work. Keep up with your progress. Always pay attention. Kind of get the heartbeat of the market. Figure it out for yourself. Never trust anybody. Never trust me. Never trust anybody else except for yourself. Make those decisions for yourself, okay? If somebody says, I'm going to give you the trade of the day, these are the hot stocks. I was trying to do research for my own video. I typed into YouTube. I can't remember what it was. The title of one video said, buy this stock or buy this stock now. And I was, and it had a lot of views. Okay, it had a lot of views. And I just thought to myself, these people are buying into, they're going to buy into it because they trust this guy. And I just feel so bad for them. I just feel so bad for them. And the fact that they're allowed, that's fine. That is that is as clear as it gets financial advice. Buy this stock now. I mean, come on, man. That is just terrible. I need those videos. Yeah, you're talking about the what should I do with 100,000 and so on. Yes. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. Sell your junk and start a side hustle. Completely agree with that. It helps in two ways. You're going to pick up some money, but also when you get rid of the junk, you like on a different level, it helps you out. I got rid of a lot of stuff. Not that I had a lot of stuff to begin with, but I definitely got rid of, like when I'm moving from one place to another. That is your chance to declutter, and I really mean like throw away, give away, donate. If you've got clothes, old shoes, toys, or whatever, like whatever the heck it is that's hanging around from, you got it from that person and this person and that, and you could donate that, especially if it's something you could sell it, whatever it is. Okay, you start getting rid of that, you make space for other things inside of yourself. That's a whole different topic. All right, let's go for a few more minutes. Peanut butter fried chicken. I've never had that. Is that a thing for real? Okay. Yeah, XRP. People are asking me about XRP. I talked about this earlier, Gary. But essentially, I think there's a lot of hype around it based on the price. I think that where people think that it's supposed to be, like this is going to be the next reserve currency of the world and so on, I think there is absolutely no grounds, no basis for that type of talk at this time. I want to see all cryptos advancing, and we can see what the market decides would be good and so on. Whether the price can go up or down, I haven't checked the technicals on it, so I'm not aware. But he can tell us a lot about swing trading. Okay. If you want to know about swing trading, yeah, Bill Stens. I'm pretty sure he used to comment on my channel years ago, but now I guess he changed his name on there. Okay, so I know of him. I've never seen the videos, but what was I saying? Oh yeah. Check out the interview that I did with Profit Market. Profit Market is the name of the channel. Trent is the guy's name, and he has a fantastic channel. I talked to him for at least an hour and a half. So the interview was 30 minutes, but I talked to him for like an hour and a half. And the guy is a great guy from what I gather. He just explains the whole swing trading really, really nicely. He understands things at a deeper level. He's a family man and so on. Like, he just seems like a good guy. And I learned a lot from him. And I'm going to be so he has a membership on YouTube, which is like $10, which is really cheap. But I'm going to be getting into that. And then just to have more depth to my knowledge. And so that's part of my plan anyway. What about using commitment of traders reports and implied volatility indicators to position yourself? I'm not sure what you mean by that exactly. I'm not sure. I try to use as many indicators as possible. I could say that. Okay. Richard Hart, dude, be surprised you could learn from each other. Yeah, have I heard of this guy before? I'm not sure. Maybe somebody told me about him. I'm not aware. I'm not aware of him. Have a garage sale, get rid of your junk, make cash. Yeah, sell it on Kijiji, sell it on Craigslist, sell it on Facebook Marketplace. Go online, right? Make your stuff available to people that are not necessarily walking by your area too. Hey John, how are you? Yeah, Mark Cuban. I don't know what's going on. There's all kinds of people talking about things like they clearly, I don't know. Everyone's an expert in the crypto world. Everybody's an expert because it's so new, right? So everybody's an expert suddenly. I don't know, whatever. It's funny, like when crypto was at 60, so when Bitcoin was at 65,000, 64,000, like there's so many people out there were saying like this thing is going to go to 100,000 next week. It's going to go straight up, and then it goes down to 30,000. It's like, well, that's okay. I mean, like nobody knows where it's going to go, right? It just we don't know where it's going to go. If you don't need it, have not used it in 6 months, get rid of it. Completely agree with that. Oh, nice. I buy and sell guitars. They are good investments to fun to flip. Good stuff. Love the videos, man. Thanks for all the uploads. Appreciate it. Ohio guy. I think what's going to happen is there's going to be no more lives Monday to Thursday. No more live. I think so. I think just based on the performance of the videos, have been just so bad. I'm just not sure what I'm going to do exactly. But no more live from like Monday to Thursday, maybe on Thursday, but definitely Monday to Wednesday, no more. I'm going to see if that does anything to the channel. I'll still post videos. I've gotten people saying don't post the shorts. Other people saying, oh, I love the YouTube shorts. So I'm thinking maybe don't notify the subscriber of the shorts, but then if they go to my channel, then they're going to see the short there. I don't know. I'm kind of stuck. The views are just like a fraction of what they used to be. So I'm trying to just figure out what's going on. When I make a video, like people say, like, your videos are the same, your videos are repetitive, I don't, this and that. I'll make a video about like generic, whatever it is, like, new investment for 2021, like something just simple like that. And the views will just be like really bad. So I'm thinking, okay, well, they're not interested in that. Okay, no worry, I'll do this video, but nothing has really been resolved in that regard. So I don't know what to do. I'm kind of at a loss, but I'll just tell you that lives will not be at least until Thursday. We'll see, maybe Friday, and then that's it. So hope you guys appreciate that. The kittens, yeah. Actually, as soon as I started doing the lives, the performance just tanked even further, which is weird. Catch you on the flip side. Create a separate channel for the shorts. I don't even think it's worth it. Like, it's not even worth having the content on a separate channel. Nobody was going to watch it. You have told the truth and upset the algorithm. Yeah. Yes. I've been reported by so many people too. That hurt. I'm quite certain once you get reported by a lot of people, then that hurts the algorithm. I love the live stream. I know. I think it's fairly fun. People got used to your format. Yeah, I guess. love the shorts, love the stories, love the morning vids. I don't see how anyone could really complain when they're getting free info. People are, I know. It's just like, don't click. If you don't want to see it, just don't click. But I get, like, so I get everything, right? I get all the comments. So, and I'm just trying to do what's best. But I see the views declining, and I got to think to myself, okay, what needs to change? What's wrong? And then I try to adapt. So far, not been good, but people are asking about what is the event. Okay, really quickly. Jackson Hole, Federal Reserve, end of August. They will dictate what happens in September. September, we're going to hear of the Federal Reserve if they are going to taper. Fed President Kaplan has said that likely they're going to be talking about the Fed taper in September, and then it will be actually taking place in October. That is the biggest event of 2021. Why? Because it means risk off. It means a reduction of leverage and margin and everything coming from investors. I talked about it a few times previous in the video. If you want to check it out, all of these live videos go unlisted afterwards, but you can always see it on the Twitter and the Facebook permanently. Been busy working. I read a lot of the titles, don't always get time to watch. Okay, no worries. People reported me many times, they just don't like me. They just don't like me. Thank you, Gary. I don't know what I would want to invest in. Hard to trust anything anymore. Yeah, it's very difficult. That's why I say if you do swing trading, you don't have to really like it a lot, but hey, you're going to hold it for 3 days. Doesn't matter as much. There are other people out there who will invest in companies that I believe are immoral to own, even for a day. But hey, let's be honest. Look at these manufacturers of certain things that are, how do I say it? The things that they're putting in people over here. Those companies. That was the easiest trade in the world. That was the easiest trade in the world. Let's be honest. You would have bought into that last year at any point and held them right through. They just keep going up and up and up. And that was pretty obvious. But to some other people, it would seem immoral to put your money into something like that. Other people say, I don't care. I'll put my money anywhere. You could do that. You can buy Raytheon. You could buy Corrections Corporation of America. You can buy, Lockheed Martin. Whatever these companies are, you can invest with them, give them your money. That's up to you to decide if you want to do that. But some people believe that the morality issue is far more important than anything else, because in the end, it's not us that has to, place judgment. Somebody else is going to be sorting it out, if you know what I mean. So that's just my little rant. Okay, guys, I'm going to take off. That's enough. All right. Take care. I'm out. The rant GPS. Yes. All right, guys. That's all. See you tomorrow. Thank you for coming in today. Appreciate your time. Take care.